In the shadow of the First World War, an unimaginable terror sailed not on the high seas, but in the realm of the unexplained. March 1918. The world was at war, and yet the greatest maritime mystery of the century was about to unfold. A tragedy so profound, so absolute, that it swallowed 306 souls without a whisper, leaving behind no wreckage, no distress call, and no trace. They called her the USS Cyclops, a giant colossus of the sea. She vanished into thin air, sailing into one of history's most baffling enigmas. Forget the Bermuda Triangle you think you know. This is the true story of its most famous and most forgotten victim. Part 1. The Leviathan and the Storm. Chapter 1. The Colossus of Steel and Ore. Introduction to the ship. Detailed description of the USS Cyclops, the largest ship in the U.S. Navy's auxiliary fleet at the time. Emphasize her size, power, and role as a crucial naval collier or coal carrier. The age of naval expansion. Contextualize the Cyclops within the rapid naval buildup leading up to W11. Discuss the strategic importance of coal and manganese ore. A shadow of war. Briefly mention the global conflict and the submarine threat, U-boats. Chapter 2. The Troubled Captain. The master of the vessel. Introduce Captain George Worley, a controversial figure whose real name was actually Johann Friedrich Wichmann. Dive into his highly questionable background, a German-born American citizen with a reputation for bullying, cruelty, and, according to later reports, pro-German sympathies. The crew's discontent. Describe the difficult working conditions and the crew's growing fear and distrust of their tyrannical captain. Use actual historical accounts of his behavior. Chapter 3. The Cargo of Fate. The Manganese Ore. The mission. Detail the Cyclops' crucial mission, transporting 11,000 tons of heavy, volatile manganese ore from Rio de Janeiro to Baltimore. Technical danger. Explain the physics of the cargo, how manganese ore, when improperly loaded, could shift, creating a dangerously unstable center of gravity, especially in a ship of the Cyclops' design. This foreshadows one of the possible explanations. Chapter 4. The Last Port of Call. Barbados. The stopover. Describe the unscheduled stop in Bridgetown, Barbados on March 3, 1918. Explain the need for an additional coaling stop and supplies. The final glimpse. This is the last recorded sighting of the Cyclops. Describe the atmosphere, a bustling port, a massive ship preparing for its final journey. Highlight the ship's reported list, or tilt, to the starboard side, noted by British officials in the port. The departure. The ship leaves Barbados on March 4, 1918, heading northwest towards the American coast. The clock starts ticking. Part 2. The Silence and the Hunt. Chapter 5. The Expected Arrival. Baltimore awaits. Describe the scene at the Baltimore Naval Base where the Cyclops was expected to deliver its vital cargo. The delay. Days turn into weeks. The expected arrival date passes. Initial concern turns to quiet worry. The Navy assumes typical wartime delays or radio silence due to U-boat activity. The first alarm. The realization dawns that the ship is officially missing. Chapter 6. The Uncanny Void. The Bermuda Triangle Connection. The Search Grid. Detail the vast, frustrating search operation launched by the U.S. Navy. Emphasize the lack of any debris, oil slick, lifeboats, or distress signal. The Geography of Mystery. Discuss the approximate area of the ship's last known route, which runs directly through the region later popularized as the Bermuda Triangle. Use this historical context to explain the origin of the legend. Chapter 7. The Enigma of the Radio. Radio silence. Analyze the baffling absence of an SOS signal. Discuss the ship's powerful radio equipment and the Navy's confusion. Was the disaster instantaneous? Was the radio sabotaged? The Navy's response. Detail the official investigation and the Navy's public statement that the loss of the Cyclops was, quote, one of the greatest mysteries in the annals of the Navy. The President's involvement and the suspect. Mention President Woodrow Wilson's personal distress over the loss, calling it a tragedy so vast as to be beyond the power of words. The traitor theory. The Navy begins an intense, secret investigation into Captain Worley or Witchman. Explore the theory of a defection to the German enemy, that the captain, potentially a German agent, surrendered the ship and its strategic cargo to a waiting U-boat or even sailed it to a secret German port. Part 3. The Cold Case and the Competing Theories. Chapter 9. The U-Boat Scrutiny. The German File. The post-war interrogation after World War I ends, the U.S. Navy thoroughly checks all captured German submarine logs and intelligence records. The verdict. Present the shocking finding. No German U-boat claimed the sinking of the Cyclops. If the Germans didn't sink it, what did? This deepens the mystery. Chapter 10. The Structural Failure Hypothesis. The Engineer's View. The Cyclops Flaw. Revisit the ship's design. Present the most widely accepted theory among naval engineers, structural failure. The ship's long, flexible hull, designed for cargo, was vulnerable. The perfect storm. Combine the three factors: the poorly loaded, heavy manganese ore creating stress, the ship's structural weaknesses, and a sudden, violent rogue wave or gale force storm encountered in the Atlantic. The catastrophic failure, the belief that the keel snapped suddenly, causing the ship to break apart and sink so fast that an SOS was impossible. Chapter 11. The Paranormal and the Legacy. The Bermuda Triangle legend. Connect the Cyclops to the larger cultural phenomenon, explaining how its loss fueled the modern myth of the Bermuda Triangle. The eerie aftermath. Discuss the two sister ships of the Cyclops, Proteus and Nereus, that also vanished without a trace during World War II, cementing the family of ships as cursed. The undiscovered truth. Emphasize that the Cyclops remains, to this day, an unlocated wreck. It is the single greatest loss of life in U.S. naval history, not directly resulting from combat. The final roll call. Conclude by honoring the 306 men who were lost. The enduring mystery. Reiterate the facts that make the story so powerful. No wreckage, no bodies, no clear enemy action, and the tyrannical captain with a secret identity. Final statement. The great ghost ship of the Golden Age still sails the depths of our imagination, an epoch echo of a story that may never be fully told.